Hello and welcome to the SuccessFactors Recruiting Knowledge Transfer session. In this session, we are going to talk about managed recruiting settings. So let me just go back to my instance. Here it is. I'm in Admin Center. So the recruiting settings page allows us to make several configurations. So as you know, there are a ton of configuration that we need to do in provisioning. However, as a customer, you don't have access to provisioning. That would be for professional services or for implementation partners. But in recruiting settings, there's also a lot of configuration that we need to do, and enablement of settings, definitions that we need to make. So this is what I will show you today. So to go to the Manage Recruiting Settings page, we can use the Recruiting menu here, and then we are going to open this Manage Recruiting Settings page. Okay, so as you can see, let me just scroll down a little bit. There is a lot of configuration, a lot of settings that we have here. So let me just highlight the several blocks of configuration that we have. So here, this first one is really some company-specific contact information. So this would be used if you were using eQuests. This would be the data that would be passed into eQuests. And then we have here some email address information, candidate profile settings, application, candidate search, and then here this internal to external candidate conversion, and internal to external is to do the candidate, are the settings for the candidate conversion process once we hire the candidates. Then some specific settings about the job requisition, the usage or not of generic objects and foundation objects in recruiting, interview central information, candidate summary settings, offer approval, offer letters, instructions for the job requisition page, data retention management settings, general data privacy settings. On this one, we are going to enable or not message center. This is about how we deal with the deletion of correspondence, assessment integration, field validation, SMS, career sites. So there is a lot of information here. These are the messages that appear in the external sites, CRM functionality, business rules, agency, RVP for recruiting emails, and then intelligence services for recruiting. So let me go back. One thing to note is that each block has a save button. So always make sure that you click on the save button related to the section that you have updated. So if you are going to update multiple sections, make sure that you do that each section. Make sure that you click on the save button after you update each section. So I wouldn't recommend you to make all of the changes to all the settings and not click on the save button because it is very easy to forget to click on the save button. So let's say that you update these 3 sections, but then you only click on the save button on this one. These 2 are not going to be saved. So always remember to update one section, click on the save button, update another section, and then click on the update on the save button, and so on. Okay, so I am going to highlight some of the settings that we have here. Again, there's a lot of settings in this page. I don't have the, I will not be able to highlight all of them, but I will highlight the ones that are most important ones. So for example, this one, delay emails to disqualified candidates. If you would like to delay that email, so that means not send the email automatically at the time of disqualification to the candidate, you can definitely send or delay that email. I have here 72 hours, so that means that Once a candidate is disqualified, the email to the candidate will not be sent out for another 72 hours. So this is definitely a possibility. And then another one that I would like to highlight is the resume parsing. So this is enabled here in recruiting settings. The resume parsing feature allows candidates to, once they upload their resume into the candidate profile, if resume parsing is enabled, the system is going to parse the data from their resume into the fields in the candidate profile. So this helps the candidates in populating, creating their candidate profile, because the data is going to automatically populate into the fields. We definitely recommend candidates to review the data, but it does help them very much. And then there's also two new features or recent features that we've developed, which is the mass upload candidate resumes and the bulk create of candidates. So this allows you, so as an admin, to create candidate resumes and to create candidate profiles by uploading the candidate resumes or by uploading a CSV file. So you have these two options. You can definitely explore these features a little bit more. These features allow you to, or allow the system to automatically create those profiles if we upload either resumes or the CSV file. So it's definitely helpful. Let me just scroll down a little bit more. A lot of settings here for the application profile. One that I want to highlight is the time to hire. This report, this metric, it is really useful. So you can definitely define the criteria here. This one, external to internal candidate profile conversion. This is definitely required if we have if we want to enable this candidate conversion. So essentially, if we hire a candidate into SuccessFactors, then the external profile will be converted into an internal profile because obviously the candidate is now an internal employee of the company and not an external candidate. So we do want to make sure that we have this setting here configured and everything is set up properly so that the conversion can work and that the system can identify the matches. And then here for the job requisition, again, I have a lot of settings. I do want to highlight this one, enable private posting of jobs. So the private posting means that you are going to post a job. However, if a candidate looks for that job in the career site, the candidate will not be able to find it because we've done a private posting. So this is especially relevant for leadership positions, for example, where you don't want to post a job in the career site because otherwise everybody will see that you are hiring for that leadership position. But you do want to have a posting and you do want the candidates to follow the application process as normal. So what normally happens is that you do a private posting, the system generates a URL for that posting, and then you send that URL to a specific candidate that you have in mind. So let's say that you had already identified a potential candidate for this job. You can just email that private posting, and then that person can apply to the job and then just follow the normal recruiting process in SuccessFactors. Also, I do like to highlight time to fill and the age of the requisition. Again, you can make the definitions here. The default statuses for pre-approved and approved jobs. You have to pick your requisition template. and then you are going to pick the default status for the pre-approved job and for the approved jobs. So the pre-approved is really the first state of the requisition. So as soon as the requisition is created, the requisition is in a pre-approved state, and only when it is approved by all levels of approval, it will become an approved job. So you can default a specific status for each one, pre-approved and approved jobs. Then I have here this section, the generic objects and foundation objects. So we cover this on another section, or rather on another session. So remember that HR master data can be defined in Employee Central, or even if you don't use Employee Central, we can create an org structure in SuccessFactors and then utilize that org structure in recruiting. And to do that, you will want to enable the objects here in recruiting settings. You don't need to use all of them. You can definitely just use the ones that make sense for your company, for your processes. And then we have here Interview Central in case you are using it. These are the settings for this particular feature. If you also use interview scheduling, you can definitely enable it here and then define the pick lists for the interview locations. And then here in my offer letter, I have in my offer letter section, I do have some settings that I can do as well. I do want to highlight this one. So the enable electronic signature for offer letters. So we can have, we can use DocuSign for electronic signature in the offer letters. So if you do have a contract with DocuSign, we can definitely establish an integration between RCM and DocuSign. So when the candidates review their offer letter and they are ready to accept the offer, they can do an e-signature on the offer letter. So this is where we are going to really define those integration points. You need the account ID, you need the email address, you need the password here. And then if you want to add a instruction in the job requisition page, this is where you would do it. And then again, some data retention management settings. There's configuration that needs to happen in the backend. Keep that in mind. But again, as I mentioned, you will not have access to provisioning. Only PS, professional services and implementation partners, will have access to provisioning. But then again, after those settings or after those configurations are done in provisioning, you can definitely make additional configuration, continue the process of configuration here in Admin Center in recruiting settings. So this is what I am show you here as well. Another one that I would like to highlight is this one, enable email correspondence. So this is a new, a relatively new feature that we have that is part of the CRM functionality, the candidate relationship management. So Message Center allows us to communicate with candidates. You have sort of like an inbox. You can see your new messages. You can message candidates directly from Message Center. That would also be integrated with your Outlook. So it is a very, very cool functionality. So this is where you would enable it, and we will have, and you can definitely have this Message Center enabled for you and use it with your candidates. And then this is for the deletion of correspondence. So if a candidate profile is deleted due to privacy choices, or if the candidate is purged from the system, what happens with the correspondence? We do have assessment integration here as well. This allows us to enable or not field validation. So on the phone number and on the SSN on the application. And then the SMS messaging, do you want to enable that or not? And then here for the career side, we also have several settings. So one of the things that has been happening is that a lot of the settings that were only in provisioning, we are now moving them here to Admin Center, to the recruiting settings. This is really to allow more flexibility to our customers instead of requiring professional services to go in provisioning to make those changes or reach out to customer support. You now have a lot of flexibility and you can manage a lot of your system by using recruiting settings, by using this page here. So some of these settings, I do remember that they were in provisioning only, but now we have moved them here to Admin Center. So it is really cool. It gives you a lot of flexibility again. And then these are the messages, again, that the candidates can see when they apply for the jobs, or the subscribe thank you page, or the email verification. And then again, I have this candidate relationship management setting. So remember, I was talking about the message center. Message center, it is considered one of the features of CRM. There's these two as well, talent and several others, but talent pools and email campaigns are also part of CRM. So you can enable them here. We can also enable the recruiting rules, business rules. We've talked about this in other sessions. And then we also have the agency portal here. So would you like to have access to the agency portal or not? Do you utilize it in recruiting or not? And then this RBP permissions for the recruiting email templates allows us to really permission the contact candidate email templates and the offer letter email templates, and really determine which roles will have access to which templates. So it is very useful as well. It just adds an extra layer of security. And then finally, we have intelligence services here. So for example, the global assignment, employee time off, employee long-term disability, what we can really determine what happens in the event of these scenarios here. So again, always make sure that you click on the Save button in the corresponding section. Once you do that, you will see a confirmation message here at the top confirming that your changes were saved. Please explore these options. There's a lot of settings here. You will see that most of them have this little question mark icon. So you can definitely have more information about the settings. Please let us know if you have any questions, and also make usage of the admin guide that has a lot of information as well about these settings. Thank you very much.